Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for joining us in our first career chat for the year. This is our kickoff college and career chat today with RBC, with Harvard, Scholastic, Marvel, and even New Jersey Office of the Public Defenders. We are so excited to have you here and have you network with the wonderful people that are being here today as your mentors for the day. All right. So as always, we're never going to give it up. We have some opening lines for you guys. We want to warm you up. We want to have you talking and thinking about, want to have you thinking about your career and your college experiences or future experiences. So if you can please answer the question, your best friend confided in you that they struggle to speak up confidently at work because they are afraid their ideas won't be well received. What advice would you give them? You will have about 3 minutes. Thank you. Now we're going to move on. I do have the pleasure now to introduce our Director of Community Initiatives and the Director of our new Career 360 program, Marisa Casanave-Stewart.
Hello. So yes, my name is Marisa Casanove-Stewart. I am the newest team member for Two Girls Right Now. As Sally did say, I'm the Director of Community Initiatives. And one of the amazing things that I had the pleasure of joining or being a part of is creating a systematic way to be able to bring a diverse talent pipeline to our corporate partners. So working with all of you to make sure that you are ready to apply for those internships, to apply for those jobs that you guys have been so diligently working on with your mentors and in the variety of programming that our program team has offered you guys over the last couple of years. One of the visions that Maya had when she started or brought up college and career chats was to make these opportunities more than just tell me about your job, tell me about your industry, tell me about how you can apply to Ivy Leagues. The point of these conversations is meant to bring you into these small breakout rooms and have these intimate conversations with individuals who are excited to share with you the real deal of what it was like to enter into Harvard and what that culture and or campus life was like, or what is the real deal when you are working at Scholastic, meaning what is it like to be a publisher or an editor, or working for social media. What is it like? What is the company culture like? What is working remote like now post-COVID? We know that post-COVID has done a lot to change the way that we are interacting in our workforce and our academic environments. So the point of these conversations is to ask more deeper level questions, not just surface level questions, but really get into the hot topics and insights of what careers can look like for you and or what does college life look like for you. Or for some who may be kind of toying with if college is the right move for them right now, maybe asking what it is like to take a gap year and what that could be for them later on in college. How could that affect both positively or negatively for them? And what could they explore in the industry while they're taking their gap year? So for some of you who are possibly considering that may be something you want to ask about. Because these conversations are meant to be intimate, you will see that in the breakout room, it'll be one mentor for the day and maybe only 2 or 3 of you. And so we want you guys to be prepared to have these conversations and be able to facilitate it in a way where it's literally up to you. You guys navigate and dictate how you want this conversation to go. Our mentors for the day are prepared. They're ready for these honest conversations and they're excited to have them. So over here on the slide, we have a list of questions that we kind of thought of to help kind of stimulate or some ideas that you guys may have to be able to interact with your mentors. Obviously, these are not set in stone. If you all want to be able to add to this, if you have some ideas, maybe you've done some research based upon who you've seen being advertised talking to us, we'd love to, have you all be able to add those questions in. But yeah, so you could, for example, ask, what did your journey look like to get to where you are today. Not everyone has a straight line journey. I mean, that's what a journey is. It's a myriad of ways and pit stops and whatever it be. So ask, and they would be happy to talk about that. What is your day-to-day life like at work? Especially you can ask if they're working hybrid and how they navigate that. That's a big issue that people are dealing with today. And some people are talking about, are they going back into the office? Are they, is it fully remote? And how do they navigate, or how do they decide if they're staying with their company if those choices are offered to them? What do you enjoy most about your work? What is your biggest challenge at your job? What skill sets are most important in your role? And maybe asking, where did they get those skill sets? Perhaps did they have to go back to school, or perhaps maybe they found other ways, other resources to upskill. Do you like your job or company? Why or why not? What industry trends or changes should I be aware of? What didn't you know prior to your position that you wish someone had told you? If you were in my shoes, what companies or people would you be talking to? And can you connect me with 3 nouns or people, places, or things that I should be looking into? Again, these are just some ideas. As you are moving on in these series, which we hope you join again in the future, maybe you're reading on something on LinkedIn or Harvard Business Review, or you're seeing something on College Board that is striking up some thoughts and some questions that you would like to be able to ask our future mentors for the day. So take notes, save articles. If you're listening to a podcast that brings up a really great topic that you'd be interested in getting more insight on, save that and be prepared to ask that in our next college and career chat. Because again, we want you guys to utilize this really special opportunity to be able to go beyond just surface level questions, but really get insight on opportunities, pros and cons in both the college life, campus life, and in your future careers. So very quickly, we're going to quickly give you another writing exercise. You'll have about 5 minutes to work on this. And it will be basically, you're going to be, it's essentially an elevator pitch. And basically, you're going to write down notes, start with who you are, write about what you do and how you do it, explain the results of your work and what makes you unique. You're going to write an elevator pitch about you. You're going to write an elevator pitch on some just things that you want to be able to introduce yourself, possibly degrees that you're interested in studying in, where possibly you'd like to go, what industry you're possibly going into. And right here, this is how you'll write it. You're going to start with who you are. You're going to write about what you do or how you do it. You're going to explain the results of your work and what makes you unique. Make sure you've looked over what you've written, and don't forget to start a good conversation starter. Add a good conversation starter at the beginning. Anyways, so you guys are going to have about 5 minutes to work on this.
So for mentees, we want to ask, what skills or personal characteristics do you feel will contribute most to the success in your industry of interest? And then for mentors, we would like to ask you about the same question, what skills or personal characteristics have contributed most to the success in your industry of interest? So if you can take some time to write, we'll give you about 3 minutes. Now I want to take the time to introduce our mentors for the day, which I am so excited to introduce you guys to now. All right, so this introduction will also come with their own 2-minute elevator pitch. So I will call on to you. I will share some of your info, and then I would like for you to take 2 minutes to share your pitch with us, and emphasis on the 2 minutes. Keep the good stuff for the breakout room. All right, so I want to start with Stephanie Gordon, the director at corporate banking at RBC Capital Markets. And I'm sorry, I don't know your pronouns, but their alma mater is Harvard.
She,
you can
her.
go ahead and unmute yourself. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hi, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. So I am Stephanie Gordon, she, her. As Sally said, I'm a director in corporate banking at RBC Capital Markets, And essentially, and I cover municipal finance. So essentially, what I do is I provide money to cities and states, mostly to and other municipalities for their different needs. So one of my focuses is providing money for the build out of U.S. infrastructure. So as an example, we just closed on the deal for some terminal enhancements at JFK. So I think so big projects like that across the country are things that we help finance. I've been a director, I've been at RBC now for 10 years. I started my career at Bank of America. I went there right out of college. I graduated from Harvard, entered Bank of America's credit training program, and became an underwriter there. And again, just giving money to corporations at that time, and covered a host of different industries, consumer and retail and professional services, so like law firms and so forth. So that's been my career path. Two places, Bank of America and RBC. And in my spare time, I do a lot of work at RBC for a lot of our diversity initiatives, a lot of our recruiting. I've been a mentor in Big Brothers Big Sisters, I volunteered at Ronald McDonald House. That was pretty. Did that for a few years. Been a mentor in other spaces, and I guess that's about my 2 minutes. But I'm just really happy to be here and looking forward to get to knowing you all.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. 6 seconds on the clock. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Um, and it's so wonderful to have a mentor for the day that also has experience being a mentor. So that's lovely. Thank you. All right, now moving on to Liza Wyles, Director of TV and Digital Content Development at Marvel, and she is coming from Ithaca College. You can just unmute yourself when you're ready. Okay.
Hey, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I am a TV development exec, most recently at Marvel Disney, developing animation and live action shows, mostly animation scripted and documentary non-scripted, primarily in the kids targeted space. 6 to 11-year-olds is my main focus, but I do family as well. And I came from a background of filmmaking. I graduated Ithaca with a film production degree and a creative writing minor and Italian minor. I got to take 2 minors, which I was very excited about. Really rusty on the Italian though, so don't come at me in that language, because I'll just nod and say, I wish I could understand you. So I've been on both sides of the network and the production side, in terms of pitching ideas, receiving pitches, and mostly I oversee developing new ideas so that we can tell our superhero stories to all sorts of audiences. There's always someone who loves Marvel, but there's also someone who doesn't know about Marvel yet, and we try to work hard to indoctrinate them and learn about our 80 plus characters, and or 8,000 characters, I should say, over 80 plus years. So many stories, and always looking for new ways to tell the stories. I am also a mentor here at Girls Right Now. This is my 3rd year mentoring. I'm in the Writing Works mentor program, loving it, and I'm on the editorial committee. So if you're submitting anything to the anthology this year, I cannot wait to read your work. I'm so excited. And I'm a Queens native, Jackson Heights, born and bred, still live here, and I'm a parent. I have 2 kids, one in high school, one in middle school, and I'm married, and I don't have any pets, and that's fine with me. I like other people's dogs and cats, but I don't need them for my own. And just in terms of my field of expertise is writing for TV, for film, script writing. And I also wrote some of our animated series that you could see on our Marvel YouTube channel. And I have a series on Disney Plus called Marvel's Hero Project. That's our documentary series that focuses on kids being amazing and being real world heroes, and Marvel celebrating them in ways that only we can.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Liza. Excited to have again another mentor with us. And thank you for taking the time to be here. Now moving on to Ellen Song, coming from Scholastics, and their alma mater is Williams College.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak here. I'm really happy to participate in efforts like this. So just to introduce myself quickly, I'm an editor at Scholastic. I work on a magazine called Choices Magazine. I'll talk to my breakout room, but here's my magazine. Anyway, I have a few more issues here. Our magazine is a health and life skills magazine, an educational publication for middle and high school students. So at Choices as an editor, I pitch stories, I write little stories about health and, strategies for time management, social skills, nutrition, mental health, stories like that. And I also edit stories written by adult reporters who basically write for a teen audience. So one of the fun things I do is I oversee a monthly debate article where I feature opinions written by teens. So if you know any high schoolers who are interested in doing this, we're always looking for more contributors. I'm not a mentor at GWN, but I have been a writing mentor for basically my whole career. In the past, also in publishing, I've worked at a magazine for youth in foster care, a nonprofit actually based in New York City. And that was really serving writers coming from backgrounds underrepresented in traditional publishing. And I'm also a Queens native, born and raised basically, so I was happy to hear that. A lot of the stories that I edited in the past for teens were actually reprinted in national publications like The Nation and The Imprint, which I was really excited to be a part of. I actually had a slightly non-traditional path to publishing. This is actually my second career. So if anyone has questions about that, like career changes, I'd be happy to answer that later. I studied English for both my undergrad, and I also did a PhD in English. And I actually started out my career working in academia, teaching college literature. So this is kind of an act 2 for me, and I'm having a lot of fun, learning a lot, and I have a lot of information that I can share about how to make transitions like that. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, Ellen. That's so valuable, and I'm excited for those that will be in the breakout room with you and I got to hear from you. Now we're moving on to Jade Lozada, Policy Director at Triage with, and their alma mater is Harvard.
My name is Jade. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a sophomore at Harvard College. This also lists that I'm a policy director at Triage, and I haven't done that in a while, but right now I'm focusing on writing for my college magazine, the Harvard Crimson. So I write like long form stories and pieces about like professors and things like that. I am double concentrating in social studies and Slavic language and literature, and I am specifically focused on reading like social and political theory. I'm in like a constitutional law class, things like that. And I graduated from Girls Right Now in 2020. I did 3 years with the program as a Writing Works mentee, and then I took a gap year. So I'd be happy to talk to anyone who's curious about taking a gap year, about the possibilities for like what you can do with your time, and interested in like what college life is actually like. Thank you guys for having me.
Hi, I'm so happy to have a mentee here. This is so great. Thank you so much. It's very exciting to have you here with us. And then lastly, we have Antonia Bruno. She is the Assistant Deputy Public Defender at New Jersey Office of the Public Defenders, and she's coming to us from Arizona State University.
I have to double unmute. Hi, everybody. I'm Antonia. Not actually sure where the Arizona State University thing came from, but I went to SUNY Binghamton undergrad and CUNY Law. So anyone who's, in the SUNY CUNY world, happy to chat. And yeah, I'm also a former mentee, class of 2010, and now a mentor with Girls Right Now. And I work at the Public Defender, which some people probably know what that is, and many don't. But, basically when you maybe see on TV when someone gets arrested and they read them a bunch of stuff and they say, if you can't afford a lawyer, one will be provided for you. That's me. I will be provided for you. And so we work with anybody, you know, in our area in New Jersey that is accused of a crime. And people who end up with public defenders, you know, tend to be people who are lower income. Most of our clients are people of color. And it's our job to, you know, get to know them, understand their story, and give them the best, you know, representation possible, the same that anyone who can afford a lawyer would get, and, you know, protect their constitutional rights like any other person. So that's what I do. And before law school, I worked at a nonprofit doing global environmental justice work. So this is also a little bit of a second career for me, but all in the social justice world. And I am also born and raised in Brooklyn. And yeah, I think probably 2 minutes.
Thank you so much, Antonia. And thank you to all of you for, you know, doing your 2-minute pitches. Great to hear that we have so many native New Yorkers. Amazing to hear that we have two mentees here. Well, used to be mentees here. All right. And with that, I want to thank you all. Thank you, mentors, for the day, for being here and taking the time to connect with us, connect with the mentees. And mentees, thank you for gifting yourself the opportunity to be here and connecting with them. I hope that this was valuable, and I hope that you learned a lot of things that you can take with you in your career, your college career, and your professional career. Thank you so much for being here, and have a good night.